Hello, my name is Sitanggang, and in this video, I'm going to discuss about language typology. Linguistic typology is the study, comparison, and classification of languages based on their structural similarities and forms. Typology is a branch of linguistics that focuses on the classification of languages and the identification of patterns among the different classifications, or to put it in another way, it is the study of linguistic diversity. The most common classification criteria are syntactic or word order, morphological or word structure, and phonological or sound patterns. In this paper, the author is going to discuss about language typology based on three experts, namely Smith, Humboldt, and Stewart. What is language typology? The word typology is made up of two Greek morphemes, typos, which means type, and logos, which means signs or word. It refers to the study of types. In linguistics, typology refers to the classification of the words' languages based on the similarities and differences in their linguistic structures and genetic relations. Language typology is a branch of linguistics that analyzes and classifies languages in accordance with their structural features. Its objective is to describe and explain the common features and structural variations of languages around the world. First, J. Smith language typology. Johannes Friedrich Heinrich Smith was a German linguist. He created the wave theory or Wellen theory of language development. The wave model, or also known as the wave theory, is a model of language change in historical linguistics, where a new language features or a new combinations of features spreads from a central area of origin in continuously weakening concentric circles, like the waves created when you throw a stone into the water. The example of a wave model is the Austronesian language family, or also called Polynesian Malay. These subgroups are the languages of Indonesia, Malay, Western Austronesian, Melanesia, Micronesia, and Polynesia. Second, Humboldt language typology. Wilhelm von Humboldt, in full, Friedrich Wilhelm Christian Karl Ferdinand Freire von Humboldt. He is best known for his work on Basque and Kawi language or Old Javanese. He asserted that every person views the world essentially through language, and that language is an activity which character and structure express the culture and identity of the speaker. Humboldt divided all the language known to him into four types. The first one is isolating languages. Isolating languages are a language in which each word form consists typically of a single morpheme. It has no inflectional endings and grammatical relation are indicated by word order. The language that are included in isolating languages are, for example, Mandarin or Indo-Chinese. The example is the word I love you in Chinese is 我爱你. Each word has only one morpheme. The second is agglutinative languages. An agglutinative language is a language in which words are made up of a linear sequence of distinct morphemes, and each component of meaning is represented by its own morpheme. The language that are included in agglutinative languages are Indonesian language, Indonesian regional or traditional language such as Javanese, Malay, Gorontalo language, Sundanese language, Dayak language, Makassar language, etc., and other Austronesian languages in general, and Turkish language. For example, the word memberi in Indonesian, that means give, memberi has both verb and active signs. The word memberi consists of two morphemes, namely the morpheme mem and beri. Morpheme mem as a verb and active marker. The third, flexional or inflecting languages. In linguistics, flexional or inflecting languages are languages where the form of words change for grammatical reasons or to mark such distinctions as tense, person, number, gender, mood or voice, and case. The languages that included in fractional languages are Western or European, Arabic, and Sanskrit. For example, in the Arabic language, the word kara or reading in this word, there is no clarity on the active marker, gender of the subject, and the time it happens. For incorporating languages, Wilhelm Humboldt added the fourth type, incorporating languages, to designate for incorporating languages. Humboldt added a fourth type, incorporating languages, to designate tongues joining words into single entities functioning as sentences. Incorporating is the type of language that express grammatical relationships and word structure by arranging bound morphemes into a single word. Languages that are included is Amerindian and Eskimo languages. For example, in Eskimo language, fish is kutshuks and I eat fish is itchaks. The third expert is William Alexander Stewart. He was an American linguist specializing in Creoles, known particularly as a linguist who was one of the first to stand for the controversial concept that Black English is different enough from Standard English to be considered a separate language. William Alexander Stewart suggested a typology based on four attributes, which are standardization, vitality, historicity, homogeneity. So Stewart suggested a typology based on four attributes, which the first one is standardization. Standardization is whether or not there exists for the language a codified set of grammatical and lexical norms which are normally accepted and learned by the language's users. Stewart does not recognize the necessity of codification, but also the acceptance of the norm before a language can be said to have been standardized. The second is vitality. Vitality is whether or not the language has an existing community of native speakers. A language may lose its vitality when its language community of native speakers are gone. The third is historicity. Historicity is whether or not the language is the result of a process of development through use. What makes a language obviously historical is its association with some national or ethnic tradition. Historicity is the attribute by which the language can be divided into first and second languages. The fourth, homogeneity. Homogeneity is whether or not the language's basic lexicon and basic grammatical structure both derive from the same pre-stages of the languages. Most languages of the world are homogenetic, but there are languages of which the basic grammatical comes from one source and the basic lexicon from another source. The difference between the three typology. Smith typology is using the wave model or theory where a new language's features or new combinations of features spreads from a central area of origin in continuously weakening concentric circles, like the waves when you throw a stone into the water. Humboldt divided all the languages known to him into four types, which is isolating languages, agglutinative languages, flexional or inflecting languages, and incorporating languages. Humboldt typology emphasizes the cultural and historical context of languages. He believed that language was unique expression of the human mind, that every language reflects the worldview and culture of its speaker. Stewart's typology also focuses on the structural features of languages. His typology suggested a typology based on four attributes, which are standardization, vitality, historicity, and homogeneity. Next is the similarity between the three typology. The three typology all are attempting to classify languages based on their structural features. And however, uh, they also differ in some of the specific features where they focus on and the criteria they use to classify those languages. And next is the advantages of each theory. The first one is the advantages of J. Smith wave theory. First, it explains how languages change and spread across geographical areas. And next, it explains the origins of languages and language families. It also helps people to understand the evolution of language and how new languages emerge and spread to other regions. And last, influential in the field of linguistics. The wave theory has had a significant influence in the field of linguistics, particularly in understanding language change and its evolution. The second is the advantages of Wilhelm von Humboldt's typology theory. So, the first is it recognizes the vast diversity of languages around the world and the unique features of each language. It also provides a basis for comparative linguistics and influential in development of linguistic theory. The typology theory of Humboldt has also been highly influential, especially in the study of relationship between language and thought. The third is the advantages of Stewart's typology theory. The first, it recognizes the diversity of languages just like Humboldt's typology theory, and it helps in identifying language families. Stewart typology theory has had also a significant influence in the field of typology. So that's all my presentation. Thank you for your attention.